Okay. Excuse the voice here, guys. Got a bit of a summer cold, damn it. So I won't talk a whole lot. Try and get this cough candy down, may help a little bit. Send this up so I can see the kids too. Excuse me. See if anyone pops in here. Either way, we're gonna go ahead. Excuse me. Alright, just to recap. I was 7-1 in the first round. Second round, not as good. 2-2. I had had Vancouver over Anaheim in 5. Or sorry, in 6. They won it in 5. I thought that series went pretty predictable. You know, Dustin's team's coming, but he just doesn't have enough yet there to compete with the big boys, even though his regular season record was so good. I think it's a factor of that division, and Vancouver had a bad start to the year. I think that's really what the issue is there. That division's just not very good. So Vancouver took care of business there. The other one I had right was I guess I didn't. No, my apologies. I went 1-3. I had Carolina winning in 5 over Columbus, and Columbus ended up taking that one in 6. It was a good series to watch. I think Columbus went up 2-0. Carolina tied it up. I think all those were road wins, and then Columbus came back and won the next 2. So they got the win over Wolf, who's gone MIA again. And the other one, shockingly to me, Chicago finished off Winnipeg in 7. Starting to look like it would go the way I thought, with Winnipeg being up 3-1, and then Chicago came all the way back and won it in 7. So good for them. We're gonna have a new Cup winner this year. So they moved on, and then my team really shit the bed. Didn't put up much effort at all against Florida. Swept out. Disappointing second round. I guess it's better than last year, but it's disappointing. I don't know. Defense is good still. Didn't allow a lot, but didn't score enough. So, lacking some goal scoring or something. I don't know. I gotta get those Ovechkins and stuff back again. Need that elite goal scorer missing, so trying to do it with a balanced offense and a really good defense, and obviously it wasn't near enough. So Florida moved on. So yeah, 1-3 for round 2 brings my total for the year to 8-4. Better correct my standings here. I've been keeping all my stuff. Sorry about that. There we go. Yeah, so that takes care of round 2. Moving on to our next round, we've got really good matchups actually for our conference finals. I'm going to start with the Eastern Conference. We got Columbus is going to open on the road against Florida. Florida being the higher seed, division winner. Columbus actually went 3-0 against Florida this year. One of those wins was in a shootout, but they didn't lose to Florida, which is one of the few teams I think that probably did, if any others, had no losses against Florida. So Columbus handled them pretty well. I looked at goals for and against this time in a little bit different light for the playoffs. Goals for Columbus is at 3.23, so theirs actually went down a little bit, dropped 0.2 goals against, or goals for a game. And Florida's went up to 3.7, and it went up almost half a goal. Our team doesn't score a lot. They did enough against my team, I guess, and moved up a bit. Goals against. Vancouver's goals against improved by 0.26. They're down to 2.62. Florida's also improved by 0.2 goals against at 2.8. Very similar. Power plays. Columbus kept theirs pretty even. They're 32.2% right now on the power play, which is a very good power play. And Florida's went down 3% to 22.81%. So there's a 10% difference in the power play percentage there. Big factor. I think one of the factors there for Florida is they were playing my team, and I have a very good penalty kill. So that probably is the reason theirs went down. But either way, there's a big gap there. Penalty kill, however, is the other way. Columbus did improve theirs a bit, but they're only clicking at 82.35%, kind of middle of the pack, where Florida had, I think, the best in the league at 92.86%. Penalty kill went up 2% from the last series as well. Physicality. What can I see in here? I don't know. Physicality, Columbus is a way more physical team. Florida doesn't hit a lot. Columbus does a lot. Oh, that's my chipmunk. I got a friendly chipmunk. Yeah, Columbus is way more physical. Florida. Goaltending, it's Anderson for Florida, Crawford for Columbus. Pretty even battle, I'd say. I think for both teams it comes down more to the team defense than the goaltending. Oh, go do what you need to do.
Okay, I want water.
Get it from in the house.
What?
Get it from in the house. Yeah, get it from in the house. You won't have to turn on the outside fan. Hey, Tony. What's up? Just doing some breakdowns here. So you can watch the early part there. Just went through some numbers on Columbus and Florida. Columbus owned them in the regular season, so just quick. You missed the breakdown on goals for and against, that sort of thing. That's not a big deal. You get into the players there. Pavelski. Yeah, it's nice here, man. It's I don't know. I think it's like 20 degrees so far. It's early morning still. It's like, I don't know, 11, 10, 20. Got to cut the grass, so get that done before it gets too hot. But yeah, gorgeous weekend here. Gonna get the boat in the water hopefully this weekend too. And the Sea-Doo maybe too. It's ready to go. Boat I gotta get uncovered yet. But Sea-Doo's ready. Anyway, back to this Pavelski. Pavelski's the leading goal scorer for Columbus. He's fourth in the league with 16 points. He had 9 in the last round against Carolina, so that was a pretty substantial round for him. One of the players I mentioned that had to get a lot better for Columbus was Jonathan Drouin, and he did. He's up to 14 points now, good for 8th in the league, and 10 of them came in the last round. He only had 4 points in the opener. So a 10-point round for Drouin. He really led the way for Columbus. Stepped up big time. So Tavares was also a lot better for Columbus the last round. He got about a point a game in the 6-game series, so he's starting to play a little better. He's up to 11 points. And Ekholm was quiet. He had 10 points in the opening round, just 2 in the second round. So he shouldn't be relied on for scoring anyways, but he didn't. He was more focused maybe on his defense, but Barkov maybe the same thing. He only had 2 points in the last round too, so they're gonna need him to be better. He would have had a matchup against Wolf's top line though, so I imagine he was playing a shutdown role. Excuse me. If Columbus can ever get all these guys clicking at the same time, they're pretty dynamic. Florida, on the other hand, they still don't have any high top end scoring. The last round, Henrique continues to carry the team. He's a second line forward, second line center. Oh, coffee. Starting with coffee this morning. It'll be beer later. Yeah, Henrique's been hot for Florida. He's doing everything. He's getting the game winners. He's getting the game tires. Anytime there's an important goal needed, it seems to be him involved. Derek Stepan, Patrick Laine, they had 3 points and 4 points in the last round, respectively. Not a lot. Mind you, it was only a 4-game series. So I guess Laine was okay. Wheeler and Broussard, I said, had to be better last round. Wheeler's got a little better that round. He had 3 points in that round, so he got a little bit. Broussard is still a non-factor. He actually got nothing and continues to get nothing. Florida's really relying on defense and Henrique. I honestly can't see why that team wins. I don't know. It's a mystery to me. It's not quite a St. Louis Blues mystery, where they seem to be just a sim god. They've got players. They're good. They're just winning with defense, which I don't know. I've been trying to do, and I can't replicate that success. So good for them. He's a rival, so I can't say that much good about him. But it's all in fun, right? Prediction for the series, I'm going to take Columbus in 6. I just think they're a better team. They've been a better team all year. They had one of the best divisions there against Wolf and finished second to him. They knocked him off, and I think they'll do the same to Florida. 6 games. We'll move over to the West. We got Vancouver opening on the road against Chicago. Against Chicago with that big comeback win in the series against Winnipeg, knocking Matt down. During the season, Chicago won 2-1 in 3 games. Chicago won 2 of them. Mind you, Vancouver wasn't the same team early in the season than they are now. Breaking down goals for. Goals for Vancouver went up last round by 0.2. They're up to 3.3 a game. Is that a factor playing Anaheim? Maybe. Chicago's went down. Their goals for went down by 0.32. They're at 3.54 goals a game. Still scoring at a good clip. There's that there. Goals against. Vancouver improved their goals against by half a goal. Pretty substantial amount. They're down under 3 now. 2.92 goals against a game. Again, is that a factor playing Anaheim? Maybe. Mind you, they were playing the best player in the world, so they shut him down and did well. Goals against for Chicago. They stayed relatively even, 3.62 a game. So they're still allowing overall more goals against a game than they're scoring. Mind you, they're in the 3rd round, so who knows, right? I guess when they lose well. Power plays. Vancouver stayed relatively the same, 23%, kind of middle of the pack. Chicago has an elite power play, clipping at 35.56%. So if you're going to take a penalty against Chicago, they seem to be lethal on the power play. It's that Forsberg-O'Reilly combination on the power play is dynamic. So penalty kill, Chicago also has one of the best penalty kills in the league, 89%. Stayed about the same. Vancouver's awful on the penalty kill, 72.55%. So you've got an elite power play in Chicago against a terrible penalty kill in Vancouver. That's a massive factor if either team starts taking penalties. Vancouver doesn't take a whole lot of them. They're they're a fairly disciplined team, and they're going to need to be. Chicago, for shots and goals, if they allow the most, Chicago allows the most shots against a game. And Vancouver allows the least. So I guess Vancouver on 5-on-5 play must be very good. And they kind of limit their chances to the penalty kill. So that's going to be the thing to watch in this series of special teams versus the 5-on-5 play. Leading scorers, you got for Chicago, you got Forsberg and O'Reilly, who are number 2 and 3 in the league in scoring. Forsberg with 20 points, O'Reilly with 17. Neither guy really let the world on fire this last round, to be honest with you. For a 7-game series against Winnipeg, they, I don't know if they were going head-to-head with Crosby or whether it was the Ovechkin line, but they they didn't score a lot. I think maybe 4 points or something like that. 4 or 3 points in a 7-game series. That's not really what you expect from those guys. But we talked last time that James Neal and Riemsdyk and Bozak, they needed that secondary scoring, and those three were huge in the last round. So whatever line they were matching up with against Winnipeg, they were clicking. James Neal's now 7th in the league in scoring. He's up to 14 points. He get about a 9-point round. Van Riemsdyk and Bozak also highly productive, right behind him. So if that continues, now that gives you 2 massive scoring lines for Chicago. Makes it a lot tougher to stop. Excuse me. Vancouver, they got Sagan, who I said had to be a lot better. In round 1, he only had 4 points. This round, he picked up 9 in a 5-game series against, 6 games? No, 5 games. 5-game series against Anaheim. 9 points, so he was on fire. Kadri had 5 points the last round, or this round too. He's 2nd in scoring on the team. Patrick Kane was better in the last round, 6 points against Anaheim. So they're starting to get 2nd-round production too. Mark Stone's improved. He was very quiet in the first round. He's fairly quiet this round too. He did have 4 points, but not really hitting the ground running. Huberdeau, who led the round, first round for scoring for Vancouver, only picked up 3 points in the 2nd round. So again, they're getting one line scoring and the other one's kind of going to sleep. So talking a lot of stars in this series. They're very similar teams. They've got some elite scoring at the top. They've got veteran scoring, second lines are very veteran presence on them. And then almost no depth out of either team as far as scoring goes. Their 3rd and 4th lines are just more their check hitters and no scoring from that back end there. Or not from the back end, but the bottom of the lineup. Back end, they do get scoring. Vancouver's got some guys there who can pick up some points. Goaltending battle, it's Fleury for Chicago, who was very good. Outplayed Holtby in the last round. And then Vancouver, they had the goaltender duo of Miller and Jones in the first round, where he went back and forth a couple of times, and Miller ended up taking the ball to win the series. So we were waiting to see what would happen. Vancouver ran out Miller every game against Anaheim, and their goals against went down half a goal. So he's obviously taken the #1 position for the playoffs here. He's their guy. He won the series. Jones didn't get a start in the 2nd round. The interesting thing with this is, he picked up Miller for the deadline there. And he's a pending UFA. Could be earning himself a contract or a look at a #1 position somewhere. Similar to what he did in Anaheim in the NHL. He stepped in there, got a lot of games, and had good numbers. So it'll be interesting to see how his offseason goes. He's got Jones locked in for 4 more years. Or no, 4 including this year. 3 more years at 5.3 a season. So he's made the commitment to Jones, but he's kind of pissed him off now too. So it'll be an interesting dynamic there come the off season. But you gotta do what you gotta win in the playoffs. So it's a big move by Monty, but it's working out for him well so far for this season. So see how that goes in the off season. He'll deal with that then. And if he gets a cup, he'll be a lot happier. So we'll see. But I think he got a cup already too. So if he does, that'll be his 2nd. So we got Vancouver, Chicago. I think Chicago went to the final a couple years ago. One of these teams is going to advance. These have been 2 teams involved in the last 5 years in the VHL in this position or near this position. And I'm going to say this series goes 7. Chicago's power play is going to be what keeps them going in this series, but I think Vancouver's a better team. Even though the standings didn't show that, they are a better team. So I'm going to take Vancouver to win in 7. So to recap that then, in the East I've got Columbus in 6, and in Vancouver, Chicago, I'll take Vancouver in 7. So Columbus in 6 and Vancouver in 7. Good luck to all 4 of you guys. You've got good teams. Be interesting to watch. And talk to you guys again before the cup final. Alright, take her easy. Thanks for watching, Tony. We'll get this uploaded. Have a good day.